Think young people can't have a stroke. The shocking truth. 1. A troubling change in the numbers. You think stroke only happens to older people? I used to believe that too, until the cold, hard numbers from the CDC and the American Heart Association showed me a very different truth. Over the past 20 years, stroke rates among people ages 20 to 40 in the US have risen by more than 40%. That number isn't just a statistic, it's real faces, real stories, real people I've seen in the emergency room. I still remember a 29-year-old young man, active, full of dreams, rushed into the hospital unable to move the left side of his body. He didn't smoke, didn't drink excessively, but he had high blood pressure he'd never once checked. He told me, "Doc, I thought this was something you only worry about at 60. We tend to think illness knocks on the door only in our later years. But the truth is, silent killers like early onset high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, and high cholesterol are quietly showing up at an age when we should be at the peak of our health. Part of it is our modern lifestyle, too much sitting, fast food, too little sleep. And part of it is our own false confidence, believing we're young so nothing can happen to us. I want you to imagine this. You wake up tomorrow morning and one side of your face is numb, your words are slurred, your arm and leg won't move the way you want. Would you be ready for that? Stroke doesn't care how old you are. It just waits for a single opening. And the saddest part is, most of us only realize it when it's already too late. Two modern threats that are hitting young people hard. When I first started practicing medicine, I thought stroke in young people was rare. But now, after decades in this profession, I've learned it's a very different story. And the cause isn't some great mystery. It comes from the very modern lifestyle we're all living. I want you to picture a typical day. You sit in front of a computer screen for hours in the morning. Lunch is a rushed hamburger or a slice of pizza. In the afternoon, you reach for your third cup of coffee just to stay awake. At night, you're exhausted but still scroll on your phone until late. And then, you wake up the next day and do it all over again. Sound familiar? One of my patients, a 32-year-old working in tech, lived like this for 7 years. He was fit, not overweight, but constant work pressure, lack of sleep, and daily energy drinks aged his blood vessels far beyond his years. One morning, he woke up unable to move the left side of his body. It was a stroke, and the only warning signs were habits he thought were harmless. Stress, lack of sleep, fast food, alcohol, smoking, and even birth control pills or hormone therapy without proper medical supervision. They can all silently damage the blood vessels in your brain. And when we're young, our bodies complain less, making it easier to ignore the warning signs. What I want you to remember is this. Stroke doesn't wait for old age. It comes when we let these modern habits become our everyday life. And sometimes just one moment of neglect is enough to change everything forever. 3 early warning signs in the young you might be ignoring. There's something I want to share with you, and I hope you remember it for a long time. Stroke doesn't usually arrive like a sudden storm. More often, it sends small, warning letters first. The problem is, we often ignore them. One of my younger patients, just 27 years old, was at work when he felt numbness on one side of his face. Minutes later, his left arm grew weak, and when he tried to speak, the words came out slurred. He thought, "It's probably just fatigue," and kept working. 3 hours later, he was lying in a hospital bed, having suffered a full-blown stroke. I want you to imagine this. You're having your morning coffee, and suddenly the cup slips from your hand. Or you glance in the mirror and notice your face looks just slightly off. Or you're trying to say a simple, familiar word, but it just won't come out. That's not just tiredness. That could be your final warning. There's one rule I want you to remember by heart. Fast face, drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty, time, call emergency services immediately. Here in the US, we say, time is brain. Every minute you wait, millions of brain cells die. In younger people, stroke symptoms are often mistaken for stress, lack of sleep, or "I'll feel better tomorrow." But the truth is, even a few minutes of hesitation can be the difference between recovery and losing a part of your life forever. 4. Real-life story, case study. I want to share a story with you. A 28-year-old young man in Boston named Alex. He was a semi-professional athlete, seemingly in perfect health. People often say, when you're young and strong, there's nothing to worry about. But life isn't that simple. After a long transcontinental flight, combined with several sleepless nights preparing for a competition, Alex felt a slight numbness in his right arm, making it hard to move. He thought it's probably just from sitting on the plane too long. But 30 minutes later, Alex couldn't complete a full sentence, and one side of his face drooped. By the time the ambulance arrived, the golden window had passed. The doctor later told me, if he had been treated just 15 minutes earlier, the outcome would have been different. Can you imagine? A young man in the prime of his life, who ignored the smallest warning signs, now faced months of rehabilitation, learning again how to speak and how to walk. In my medical career, I've seen many similar cases. Stroke doesn't care how old you are, how healthy you look, or how big your dreams are. It only takes one careless moment. And that's why we, whether young or old, must learn to recognize, trust, and act the moment our body sends out an SOS. Because sometimes, 15 minutes isn't just time, it's an entire lifetime. 5. Take action. Now, I want you to picture this. Our health is like a suspension bridge hanging over a deep canyon. Every healthy habit you keep, every checkup you do, is another strong cable holding that bridge steady. And every time you ignore a warning sign, one of those cables snaps. I've been in medicine for over 25 years, and I've seen far too many people regret waiting, thinking, I'll get it checked tomorrow. One of my patients, only 42 years old, had slightly high blood pressure, but thought it was fine because I still run every morning. He put off checking his cholesterol until a stroke struck him right in his living room. Here's my message to you. Treat blood pressure and cholesterol checks like changing the oil in your car. Not because the car is broken, but so it never breaks down on the road. Keep moving at least 150 minutes a week. Eat an anti-inflammatory Mediterranean-style diet, reduce long sitting time, and stand up every hour. These may seem small, but they're insurance for your brain and heart. And if one day you or someone you love shows signs of a stroke, don't hesitate. Call 911 immediately. In a stroke, every minute that passes, millions of brain cells die. You can replace a phone, a car, a house, but you can't replace your brain.